the screen. Okay, false. So yeah, let me share the screen to get started. Okay, false. So yeah, we only have 2 topics for today. So let's start with the first one. I don't remember if I already discussed this here, but this is something that I was experimenting with. So yeah, the idea is that there are cases when a user can try to run a gadget by mistake by using Docker. This is mainly because if we go here to packages and we check one of the gadgets, the information that we have here is to use Docker. So it could happen that somebody just say, okay, let's try to do Docker run on the gadget. So for instance, this one, but yeah, somebody could try to do this. And in the current status, it provides a very confusing error. So yeah, I don't have the output here, but it tells something that in my opinion is very difficult to understand. So what I was trying to do with this PR is to create a way to provide a better error message to the user. So here I just say, okay, you have to use IG, go to the documentation. So in order to do that, we need to put a small binary on the image. So the task of this small binary is just to print to the terminal. And yeah, so I started by using assembly. That was a little bit difficult. Then I switched to Golang. The size is a bit bigger and so on. There have been some comments there, but there is no any other conclusion on that. So yeah, I'm wondering if anybody of you is interested on that, please get feedback. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to close the PR as there is no any interest on that.
Close, you mean that the people that were discussing there you didn't get an agreement, you didn't
Yeah,
write
exactly.
an agreement? Okay.
So we have Alban saying it makes sense. We have Francis saying that it doesn't make sense. So let's say that we are 1-1 there. So probably we need another opinion to make.
And what other projects does? We are the only ones packaging things associated.
Yeah, this is exactly what Alban was saying, that other projects don't do anything like that. So Inomia, you're seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Inomia, they just print a similar message to what we have in Inspektor Gadget right now. And in BPF MAM, yeah, this is the same. Something like the binary is not found in the layer. So yeah, in this case, it will be like extra value for us because it's different. So yeah, I don't know. It was a nice experiment for me. I learned a lot. So if we merge that will be great. Otherwise, I will be also happy because I was able to understand a lot of things that I didn't know before about layers, containers, and so on.
I mean, that's you already implemented it. I don't know how complicated it is to be maintained. That's the main point for me. But if it is already done, if it's already working, if it's not too difficult to maintain, and we are providing an extra value to users, for me it will be fine.
Yeah, the only issue is that we are increasing the size of the gadget.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something that
percentage more or less. Okay, I will go to the PR.
Yeah, we have the numbers there. The
Okay.
issue is that BPF programs and WASM modules are already too small. So even the smallest binary to print something to the terminal will be probably bigger than those BPF programs or WASM modules. So it's something like the real functionality takes 50% of the size, and then this small binary just to print a message to the terminal takes the other 50%. Yeah, but in my opinion, those are still very small. So I don't think that in the current, how to say that? Yeah, with the current capacity of the link transfer memory CPU that we have on the servers, I don't think there is anything to worry about these small sizes. So I think it should be fine.
Okay,
but
I will have a look, maybe.
so yeah, if you can check it out, that will be great. Let's see if we make an agreement and we are able to make a decision before letting that die because of the boot that closes the PR. Okay,
Okay.
right. Okay, so there is a second topic from Jose. So let's go ahead.
Yes, I was thinking how to test operators in a more unit test way, like just exactly specific functionalities, because all of this comes from the hotel metrics operator. That is the last PR we merged about it that I did. It was about the main data, the data source that is generating the metrics is taken, it is disabled, then we create a new data source, and this new data source has particular configuration, annotations, and things that then is taken by other operators to do what they have to do. So I was thinking how we can verify that a given operator is taking data sources, changing it, modifying them, or whatever, doing whatever they have to do, and generating and passing it to other operators as is expected. And I think for me, the integration test was too much to do that. I mean, we don't need to run an actual gadget for that. I checked what Mauricio did for, Mauro, do you remember what you shared with me? You created a PR
Yeah,
soon about,
shall be here on the CI.
yes,
Where is that? Beginning.
CI, yeah.
So yeah, this was a way to test. Yes, kind of integration tests, more or less. But in this case, we are using the new framework for unit tests. So yeah, this is something that I created to test if the inner fields were working fine. So yeah, this is something that basically is testing the different operators by using a gadget. So you were saying this is so complicated for your use
I mean,
case.
I was thinking that it is like too much. We are running through all the operators and we are testing the final output. Given a gadget, it is passing through all the operators and then going, then generating the actual output and verifying the actual output. I was just trying to isolate to do something much more unit test. That the specific unit in this case will be the operator and seeing what it takes and what it put into the chain. So I was thinking about that. I saw Mike created some similar tests already for the hotel matrix operator. Let me share the screen. I think you need to stop, or yes, you need to stop sharing for me to be able to do it.
Right now, yeah, I don't know if you have permissions to do so.
Let me try. System dash. Let's see.
Does it work for you?
Yeah, it's just too many questions to try to understand what exactly need to share.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is more or less the examples. This is what I created just to try to share with you. You can see my screen, right? That's quick diagram I created.
Yes, we can.
Let me zoom it, maybe. So the goal will be something like verified. This is operator under test. Modify, create, or do whatever they expected to be done, expected to do with the data sources, or maybe, for instance, given a data source, it is creating a service, for instance, exposing the Prometheus endpoint, or for instance, the CLI operator that given data sources it needs to create a specific output, a specific, how it is called, parameter, a specific flag. You know that, for instance, the fields, output, and all those flags are generated dynamically by the CLI operator. The CLI operator takes all the data sources and show a specific flags. The description of the flags show data source and all the fields, data source and all the fields, or maybe data source and the output it supports, data source and the default output it will generate everything. So this is like a given operator takes a data source and do something specific for that data source, generate specific parameters, or maybe modify that data source to do something. So I was thinking if that there is a way to test that, because I was writing the documentation, but I said, okay, then we change something, and again, everything is gone. The documentation is outdated or something. So maybe if we are able to test things, to have tests that verify what we have in the test is the same we have in the documentation, and once we change something, we need to update both the test and the documentation. That was my general thought. And I was thinking, what do you think about, what do you all think about this? If maybe it makes sense, if it is too specific, I don't know. This is more or less the graphic I did. Like I have a operator I want to test. I want to be able to configure the parameters, global and instance, maybe specify this is general, like maybe specify if it is in the client or the server side. And then I have something just for testing. I have something that creates data sources with specific fields, and then I verify maybe with another operator if it is, if the operator understands created or did exactly what I expecting it does. It to yeah, to do.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I mean,
So
I have,
far,
yeah, go.
so far we don't have any testing of the operators like that. I think in some operator we have some unit test, but we are not checking like the whole operator. I mean, from the init, start, everything that the operator should be doing. We are not testing anything of that. I think it will make sense to test a single operator at a time. And I think we already have almost everything that we need. I mean, the producer operator and the consumer operator is something that we can do with the simple operator. I think it will be
Yes,
specific for each test. I don't think that we need to create something
yes,
like a new producer operator or consumer operator. There will be each specific test setting up what is needed. So for instance, for the hotel metrics, you need to prepare the data sources with the field, with the specific annotations, type, whatever, and probably you need something that will generate like fake events. That should be all done in the producer operator. And yeah, we can also use the same simple operator to check if the output is the right one. So yeah, I think it makes sense. I will, if we want to do that, maybe we can start by one operator, create a test for that specific operator, and then we can see if there is any way to factorize out some of the logic that can be reused for testing other operators.
yeah, I agree. I mean, that's exactly what I had in mind. Yeah, this can be controlled just by the priority, so something that runs
Yeah.
before, something that runs after. And I did a quick check with what you are saying, just to verify if it makes sense or not. So the test is like, again, we can specify what server client, the global and instance parameters of the operator and the test, of course, the notation, the data source that the producer will use, the fields, the data source will use also on the producer, and then what is expected, something to check what is expected. I did something quick, just a one single test. And I think we have everything. I mean, the tests are like initialize, take the global operators and initialize the operator under test. This is the operator under test, hotel.
Yeah.
then define what the producer will do. So in the producer will register a data source with a specific field using the annotations and the data source annotation and field annotation what we specified in the test. This comes from the test. Then the producer will generate some dummy data. I mean, the scope of the operator of this test is not verify this output is correct. It's just verifying the general behavior, not the output. The actual output will be more unit test, I guess, or unit test of the gadget, not the output. So this is just to generate something.
Yeah, but I would say that we can also test if the output is the right one for some operators. So yeah, why not?
And then the consumer will just verify here what is expected. And here is the definition of, so I have the producer. Here in the init is where we created the data source. And then here in the start is when you will generate the events. And the consumer just verify this one, just verify in the end verify that the data source has whatever they are expected, or maybe the output, or etc. And this is the part that I thought that was difficult, but actually it wasn't. I mean, I created a context and just run without a gadget, it works.
Nice.
I mean, it will go through everything. This run does everything, wait for everything to stop, the context to stop. So what I did was in the context add a timeout, the time the test will finish, or maybe I saw another option will be to create a context with a cancel and put the cancel in the end here, in the end of the generation of the data, something like that. I mean, it was easy. This run does everything. Initialize everything, the init, the extra flags, everything, and let me see what else. Start, and then stop. Stop has the post, everything, the stop itself and the post stop. The start also has the pre-start and the start. I mean, it worked immediately. I even tried the other option. That was, oops. What I did. Wait a second, English. Oops, too much. Anyway, I even tried the other option that was to to verify that the parameters were created. So just calling the prepare gadget info, it will initialize everything. This is what is called with the get gadget info. And then you can verify the parameters. This is for the CLI operator, for instance.
Okay.
In the CLI operator, you can extract here the output one, verify that it created the description of the output field, the output parameter, sorry. It contains information for all the data sources you put in the producer, all the fields you put in the producer, that the default output is the one that you set in the annotations, and everything. I mean,
yeah, it looks very good. I think this is great to have that kind of testing. Something that I was thinking is, yeah, in this case, you are using the gadget context. So there you have the logic to initialize, to start, to stop all the operators. I don't know, maybe another option is just to initialize, start, and stop our operator manually without relying in the gadget context, maybe. But I don't think there is a big difference there. I mean, by using the gadget context, we are also implicitly testing the gadget context. But I think that should be fine. I mean, any of the two approaches would be fine for me. I will say that this is not totally a unit test because
we
we are
passing
not
through
only
the
testing the
gadget.
operator, but we are using the gadget context, we are using other things, but in my opinion, this is fine. I mean, if we break something on the gadget context, then all those tests will fail, but
Yeah,
that should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I started by thinking like, okay, I can run myself pre-start. I can have here like I can have like a list of operators,
Yeah.
and then go through pre-start, start, stop, and then I check that the run also validates validates the parameters, the global, the instance parameters. Okay, the instantiation is already there, and then call twice, call in the proper way extra params that needs to be called just after being instantiated. So there is a lot of logic here.
Yeah, actually, you will have to duplicate all of that just
Yeah,
for testing purposes.
and then this is the set. This is the ones, for instance, the params that we will verify for the CLI operator, the ones I'm getting with, wait, where is it? Okay, I get lost. In test, these params, get params will get what was set in this final params. So I
Yeah, at
said
that
like,
point, it doesn't make sense to re-implement all of that.
you just copy and paste this function actually.
Yeah,
Probably we can just call init, maybe init and prepare, and not call the whole run.
but
But
yeah, I
yes,
will prefer just to call the whole run to avoid trying something internal of the gadget contest.
but yeah, I mean, I was happy when I saw that it was possible. It was easy to do. I mean, I did anything. It was nothing strange here. I just created this with the simple operator, and just this was easy to do. I mean, look at the code. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, I agree. I think that kind of testing is useful. And also, as you mentioned, testing these specific details by using an integration test will be too difficult because we will have to create the gadget with annotations and so on. We need to compile the gadget and publish the image of the gadget somewhere. So yeah, I think having this kind of unit test for each specific operator would be better.
Burak.
Yeah, so it's really great to have this test without reliance on the integration test, which always takes too long. But I think
But
but for some operators, we still need to do some work. For example, for the cube IP resolver, we need a mock or something else to simulate a Kubernetes API connection, or just have it somewhere static for the test.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that those kind of
Yeah.
operator that interacts with outside services, doesn't make sense. I don't think it is worth to mock API server or things like that. I don't think so. For those one, I will use a whole integration test, creating a gadget and running it in a cluster. I don't know. In my opinion, it's too much work to
It is,
test.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mauro,
maybe not now. Maybe later on we can create a mock for those operators. I mean, yeah, this is a lot of work, but in the end, this is better testing for all of that. So we don't have to rely on integration tests to check if specific operators are working fine. I was also thinking that for some operators that depend on other operators, we will need to mock the previous operators. For instance, the formatters somehow depend on information that is generated by the BPF operator. So yeah, we will need to create all those annotations, tags, and all of that by hand. Because I mean, the BPF operator takes the types on the BPF program, annotates all of that with this is an IP address, this is a syscall, and so on. And then the formatter operator goes to check all of that. So yeah, if we want to check on only the formatter operator, which we should somehow create the data sources with all those annotations by hand. But that's doable.
Yeah, actually, I think that will be the perfect way to verify the formatter is working. We create a field with the exact annotations that we want and verify that the formatter then what the formatter does. Create the new field without the row, create the field with the row, and the other one that is a string. And in that case, we could verify exactly that the value is the correct. This will be a perfect test for the formatter. The consumer, the producer, consumer, and with a given field, see what is the output and everything. I mean, it will be awesome. Go.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to share, just as add to say, yeah, I agree with all of that. Okay, folks, so yeah, we are on time. If there is not anything else to discuss, I will say that's it. So yeah, thank you so much for the nice discussion. I think it was really useful to discuss this kind of stuff here. Okay, folks, so yeah, thank you, folks, and see you around. Bye-bye.
Bye.